Last time on Square Roots, Cooke and Mack hijack a train, Kym and Sarah see their ex, and Ming brings down some magical barriers. Meanwhile, Seth and Jansen play good guard, bad guard. Let me tell you, I wouldn't mind playing a little bad guard with Jansen myself. I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow to the knee, if you know what I mean. Everybody, my name is Vanessa. Welcome to the Square Roots Podcast, the classic RPG podcast. This is the podcast where we play your favorite RPGs, one chunker at a time, and then talk about them. It's like a book club, but for video games, because we can't read.
It's like a Let's Play, but only for your ears.
Yeah, it's like if your ears could play video games, they would play the Square Roots podcast.
John, you give a metaphor. And stop eating.
If it was like ice cream, but it melts in your ears instead of your mouth.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Turn it off.
You
Turn
ever
it
done the
off.
earwax treatment?
I've never had an earwax treatment where they put the cone in there and
the
suck
candling.
it out.
Apparently, that doesn't really work.
The candle.
I think it's a
really?
new age kind of thing, not a medical kind of thing.
I think it's like an old wives kind of thing, not like a new age kind of thing.
Well, those old wives, they get a lot of earwax. I'm your host, Vanessa. I am joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Matthew Van Zandt.
That's me. I'm Matthew Van Zandt. Hello.
And Johnny Mama Brandon.
Mama!
Mama! Mama!
Little preview for this episode. We're going to look up who the voice actor is that plays Said, and talk about it because I'm sure
amazing.
that he's been a lot of
It sounds sort of like he sort of sounds like a low-rent John DiMaggio.
We'll talk
Okay.
about it.
But before we talk about that, we're going to talk about how we leveled up this week. Matthew!
That's me. I'm Matthew. I'm Matthew Van Zandt.
Please tell us how you leveled up this week.
I saw a new movie that just hit theaters. Whoa. Literally this weekend. That movie is called Black Widow.
Oh, it's about spiders.
It's about sexy bear men in leather.
It's about a woman spider that is sexy and wears leather.
What about the sexy bear men in leather?
You know what Black Widow is. It's the latest installment in the hit franchise Marvel Cinematic Universe that I love and you love, and maybe he's been going on a little too long. And
Matthew, don't be a Debbie Downer about the MCU. The MCU continues to innovate. Have you heard of a little show called Loki?
I love Loki. It's very good. And I loved Scarlet Vision and WandaVitch. And I do not really want to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. It was okay. But I did see a movie called Black Widow, and I've got news for you, friends. It's going to surprise you to hear this from me. Pretty good movie. Pretty good. I really liked it. It was good. I enjoyed it. Scarlett Johansson is a very good actress, and so is Florence Pugh. And David Harbour is delightful. And I feel like there were probably other actors in it whose names I can't remember because they didn't play very large roles. But it was a good movie, and I liked it a lot. And I would recommend that you see it if you enjoy those Marvel movies. Maybe more of a mid-tier one because not a ton happens. But really good movie. Great practical effect fight scenes. And good storyline and great acting and good characters and a good movie. So definitely that's how I leveled up. I leveled up my MCU skills. Vanessa!
Yeah.
Can you please tell me how you leveled up?
Sure. I watched the first season of a television series on Netflix called Instant Hotel. This is a show that some friends of mine had been trying to, well, not trying to get me to watch, just talking up, hyping up a whole bunch for a goodly long time. And they said, it's a reality show. It's like competitive Airbnbs. It's fantastic. One friend said that she started to watch it and her boyfriend said he was not interested, and then like just stood in the room for half an hour transfixed by the glory of this television show. But none of that compelled me to give it a try until I was told that it involved people getting their comeuppance. And oh boy, do I love a comeuppance. Oh, it's so delicious. And yum, 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 yum. Oh, I just want to eat it up when someone is like, oh, my instant hotel is going to be the best. And it's so amazing. And all of you are just like, you have no taste. And the expert is going to love my hotel. And then, oh, they don't like.
You know what kind of comeuppance I would like? Where they're like, I've just invested all of my money in buying up rental properties that could be used by families, and I'm going to make them into hotels with no labor standards or civil rights standards. And oh no, a pandemic came and I'm broke. Whoa, feel sorry for me.
Oh, no. Ugh. No, you drove the families out and now nobody wants to live in your stupid house and you have to sell it for
that would be so sad, except that's not what happened because investment conglomerates decided to buy all these undervalued homes, drive up home prices so that their investments became more valuable, and now even rich people own homes.
Oh, no, nobody owns a home anymore, and there's no more generational wealth to develop. Oh, no, wait, we got off track there. Anyway, Instant Hotel, it's a good show if you like to see people getting their due. And I do. It's super messy. They obviously did not consider the rules well enough of this reality show and how people get points, because some people are just blatantly manipulating the system. And some people apparently were so hounded by watchers of the show after they appeared on it that they had to flee Australia because they were just that villainous on the reality show. There are some not, I mean, it can't all be editing, right? Like, some of those people just, no. They got to go. I also, and I'm not going to name names here because I'm not a snitch, but I did, in a fit of lockdown boredom, although I guess lockdown's technically over, I don't know anymore what's what. So I played this app. And again, I will not name names because it is a scam in the sense that all carnival games are scams. All carnival games are scams because you will spend more money playing it to win a prize than the prize is actually worth. But you know what? I know that, and I like them anyway. So I played this app that is a claw machine game. You know, like a claw machine, Johnny, where it's like full of toys and you move the claw and the claw gets the toy and it takes it out.
It's also called a UFO machine.
Yes. So these UFO machines are in China, and there's a camera on each one. 2 cameras, actually.
Oh,
and you connect to the internet and you use your phone.
This is disturbing.
To manipulate the claw in the camera, or you just move the claw, the camera films it. There's really no lag. It's pretty impressive. And you pick yourself a little prize out of the claw machine, and then the good people running this application mail it to your home. So in the mail, I received a big fat Snorlax, and also this thing that appears to be an anthropomorphized carton of milk that's also a cow and or goat. I was very confused by it. So confused that I had to have it because I'm like, what is this? Apparently it's part of a series of Japanese toys called, I forget, Tobiyashi
Maru.
It's not Tobiyashi Maru. It's Tokidoki.
Oh.
It is a Tokidoki doll.
Oh, wow.
And it is part of their living milk carton
Is that
series.
where you got that pillow that says nap queer?
It does not say nap queer. It says nap queen.
That's
and
not what it looked like in the photo that you posted on the internet with your Snorlax.
I think that is very much more a how you choose to interpret it. If you see the beginning of QUE,
yeah.
Yeah. And then, depending on your personal life experience, you're either going to finish that off with an N or an R. So I think it's more...
I thought it said nap quiet.
That would be amazing. I would love that. People should be quiet when I'm taking a nap.
Listeners, if you want to embroider me a orange or yellow or green pillow that does say nap queer, I'll give you my address. Please don't stalk me.
Wow. Johnny.
That's an amazing offer.
For pillows.
I think you should clarify that it's not just if they want to, it's if they actually do it and then want to send it to you. Lots of people may want to, but they don't have the time or
don't waste my time with fake offers. I want a real pillow that really says nap queer embroidered on it.
You know what? I meant to do this last episode and I forgot to do it while we were recording, so I'll remember this time. Listeners, that bell and squeak sound that you occasionally hear in my track is my cat, and I can't figure out what to do about it because the other option is the sound of her batting at the door for 2 hours. So,
And that's how I leveled up. Now... it's time for Johnny to tell us how he...
Yay! And I did. A few ways.
Oh.
First of all, I did start going back to the gym. I'm still wearing a mask because I don't know, man. Like...
it's weird, right? Like, people are like, you don't have to. And I'm like, but don't
and then they're like, oh, but some news sources are like, the Delta variant could be very dangerous. Then they're like, but only 99.7% of people who have been in the hospital with COVID infections, even with the Delta variant, are unvaccinated. So it seems like very unrisky. And I don't know. I just want to do the right thing.
Yeah, and then people are like, it's over, and then Japan is like, whoops, no spectators at the Olympics. Sorry.
And England is like, we've decided the best deal is to just give up. We're not going to do anything anymore. Mm-hmm. The island is going to be a wasteland. Mad Max starts in 3 weeks / the purge.
And cases are on the rise there.
And yeah, they're like, he was expecting something like 30,000 cases a day by the end of the summer, which is insane. England, get your shit together. I don't know. I just, I'm just gonna work out in a mask for now, and if it seems cool in a couple of months, then I'll stop.
First of all, it's their own fault that they have their own little baby Trump in office, just like it was our own fault that we had a Trump in office. And second of all, I don't know what you're talking shit about England for. Your country still answers to the Queen.
Yeah, so. But, we don't answer to Boris Johnson, so it's not that bad.
Do you guys hear that squeaking? That's my cat. Why does she squeak?
Loves you.
She's
so it's like her doing the squeak. No, it's because she has a squeaky toy. Well, Matt, just give her a quiet toy.
And there's a couple of reasons.
No, I didn't. That's not what I said. I said she is a squeaky toy, not she has a squeaky toy.
Most of my extended family lives in England, and I want them to be okay. And England's been turning so transphobic and so anti-queer, and it's just like...
Right,
it's
what
turned very
what's the
It went from a place that a couple
down.
of years ago I was thinking about moving to because I'm a citizen. I could move there anytime. But no, I don't think I am. I don't know. It looks like a nightmare. Anyway, England.
Can I come with you if you move to England?
My thoughts are with you.
Can my children and I come with you?
You don't want to move there right now, I would say.
Yeah, but maybe someday. John has already refused to marry me several times. He seems offended that I'm just interested in his dual Canadian and British citizenship,
John,
and not in starting a life with him.
John, would you marry me?
I'm
Don't you dare!
I'm saving myself for marriage with someone that...
Someone who will have sex with you.
Someone who likes my weirdness, for sure.
Be reasonable.
And, okay, but there's plenty of other things I did to level up. I've been watching a lot of... it's a show that's on... I don't know if you, if any of you watch Corncob TV. There's a show on there called Coffin Flop that I've been...
Are you talking about Coffin Flop?
It's really great, and I definitely recommend. Well, first of all, you need to write Spectrum because they're going to be getting rid of Corncob TV because they're saying it's not even a real channel
in 2022.
Yeah.
So
and that Coffin Flop isn't even a real show, and that they didn't want to show it anymore because of the hundreds of real naked bodies that they show falling out of broken coffins.
All those nude blue butts.
I think Vanessa has
I don't know why
walked
they're
away.
Listeners.
The new season of I Think You Should Leave came out, and it was so
terrible.
Fucking good. This is not a joke. I've watched it 3 or 4 times.
I don't watch this show, and yet I know every single line.
Do you know about
that
you should not put rocks in your pocket to pretend you're 60 pounds so you could get, what was it called? A Tammy Craps doll?
Tammy Craps doll?
Because it's like smoking 5 delicious Vancuro cigars. And their heads are no longer filled with farts. That one coworker
so you
was
enjoyed
terminated.
The new season?
Yeah, I did. I think my favorite sketch was what's it called? Dawn Flashers, the clothing store.
Dan Flashes.
Dan Flashes was fantastic.
Dan Flashes.
And it's like you can watch it in an hour, the whole season. It's a very short watch.
You know what? I said this to my friend that I convinced to watch it the other day, and what I said to him by convincing him to watch it was, it's a show, but the season is about the same length as like a stand-up special or a comedy special from one of your, if you're into that, and it's kind of the same. Like it's about an hour, you know, and it's so good.
It's got that attractive guy from Cruella in one sketch, worried about Jamie Taco stealing all his lines. It's great.
Just every sketch is a delightful little escapist.
I think my favorite sketch was the sci-fi restaurant.
That one is with Tim Heidecker is very, very good. I think that this season the new season manages to still be surprising and weird, but feels a little more heart-felt or heart-touching in this season.
In a way that I liked. I think I like this season maybe better, although that hot dog car joke from the first season.
Listeners, imagine
I don't want to compare sketches because
that's coworkers, and you show up to work every Monday morning.
It offends me that you just talk about me as if I am your coworker.
Monday, these guys, they come to your cubicle where you keep all your very good globes, and they lean in the door of your cubicle and they reenact the entirety of that week's Saturday Night Live.
Now, Vanessa,
should
they be wearing masks or not?
Not if they're vaccinated. They do not have to wear a mask.
I still would be uncomfortable.
Is invalid because Saturday Night Live is so disgusting.
What about Wells for Boys?
I Think You Should Leave comes out once a year. It's like one episode. If one episode of Saturday Night Live came out a year, and your friends thought it was really great, and you couldn't be bothered to watch it, are you at fault for not finding the joy there, or is it your
I
friends?
did actually enjoy a sports game this week because the team that I was supporting won after Matt was trash talking, but then it wasn't so fun. Was that this week or was that last week?
There was a interview after the 5th game when the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup with Nikita Kucherov, who was very clearly very drunk, and he was shirtless and holding a beer. And he, out of nowhere, called out the 4th game and was like, Montreal fans, get your shit together. Like, they reacted like they had won the Stanley Cup
Vanessa just
when
got
they won
shot.
their first
Did Vanessa
game
just shoot herself?
in the series.
Did you
That's
hear
not
that
funny.
noise?
It sounded like Vanessa just shot herself.
No, I don't know what that is exactly. It could be. Let me take my
She's like,
headphones off and
first,
listen.
I think it was the sound of a puck rifling around the end of a hockey rink, you know. Anyway,
but that was just funny. Like, I can enjoy a sports game when there's a lot on the line, and it's like, you know, Montreal is just my home city where I grew up, and I was watching it with another Montrealer, so that was fun. But I'm not really a sports guy. He was asking me all sorts of questions about the lineup, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know anyone's name.
that's the best.
Yes, I have forgotten that there is a fireworks show in town today while we're recording this podcast. So, listeners, enjoy the kabooms.
Do not let your easily startled dogs listen to this podcast. We always say that at the head of every episode, but it's super important this episode. I did get really sore from the gym. I forgot. That's what I was going until I got onto my weird mask tangent.
Are we still talking about level ups?
I'm done. I'm done. I'm almost done. I'm just, God, can't I just say one more thing? I'm just super sore because I haven't worked out in a year and a half and my whole body hates me.
You sound like Jansen right now. Yeah, that's tough. Sorry, John. That's rough.
But it's good.
Poor
it's good
guy.
to be back.
Take an Advil and get some rest and drink a lot of water and eat some protein.
I did have some cauliflower coleslaw that was pretty good. Very
That
dense.
sounds good.
Anyway, friends, why don't we move to the Dream Journal and we can all talk about our dreams.
Talking about all of our dreams that we're having.
Vanessa and Matthew.
Dream Journal. Guys, I'm trying to freestyle a song, and you're just going to talk over me?
That's kind of what we do on this
That's
podcast.
so rude.
So
It's fair, and I agree with you, but I'm still offended.
did any of you get any more dreams this chunker? Because I didn't get a single one.
No, that seems to have fallen entirely by the wayside.
Yeah.
I totally, because I never watch them, I didn't really notice when they went away, but you're right. I can't think of any.
Like, I went around that whole one refugee camp talking to everybody.
Well, so there's 50.
Yeah. And we're missing
There
half
are
of them.
50 stories.
So
But I bet a lot of them you have to hunt down.
I guess so.
Yeah, I think
That's
you have
half the
to
fun.
revisit locations, especially since our party has been split up.
All right. But that was a thing I really like about this game, and it's just kind of weird that they're like, you know what, the rest of them are...
We got tired.
I said I was going to write 50 stories. Then my last minute deadline came, and I don't know, I just didn't want to work the whole night writing 50 stories.
A lot of games do this stuff, though. Like, they start out and they're like, here's our mechanic, and it's going to be super cool, and it's going to be like this. And then they're like, we didn't think this through. We ran out of money. Just do something.
So, if you remember last time, Seth and Tolten teleport into Ura, and this is a real odd couple pairing.
Yes, she, of course, is a immortal pirate, and he is a fancy pants.
He is a fancy pants who the entire town thinks is dead and thinks is in very poor taste for dressing in ornate diamond-encrusted armor, which could not easily be procured by anyone in the city.
And looking just like the dead king and saying, it's me, the dead king.
I'm not buying it. You are obviously a liar.
You know what I really like about Tolten is that when a battle starts, he looks like really upset by it, and then when it's over, he like clutches his chest and sighs, and he's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I had to fight a battle. What is?" And
he gains like 10 levels in an hour in this because.
That's what happens when you have no experience. It's easy to pick up the basics quickly.
Well, he didn't have no experience. He's like disc 2 level. He starts at disc 2, so he's had some training.
That's true. when we started, he was a higher level than we were when we had our first little
it's true.
Instance of
and he's got some
over.
fun abilities that you can leech off of him, like attacking a whole row, but Mack has that too, so you probably already have it. And so you decide that it probably makes sense to go through the back alleys instead of the main streets because you don't want to be accosted by guards. You keep getting accosted by guards. And he has an ability right away, after you first level up, called Member Hit that is not what you think it is.
Yeah, I think that it is whipping it out and giving it a good old slap.
Wait, I thought it was punching someone in the dick.
Well, I mean, I thought it was a self-hit. I would never presume to punch someone else in the dick, but if I had one, you bet I'd be punching
No,
it
don't,
all day, every
don't.
day.
I mean, some people like that, but don't.
But it's funny.
Oh, ow. Although the testicles are they're the ones that you don't want to do that to. Although, again, I know a lot of guys who really want you to do that to them. Not you specifically.
Yeah, they message
I
you
know,
all the
they really
time.
do. Anyway.
Johnny, I bet there's someone out there who wants me specifically to do it. And you know what? I'm not going to.
Would you...
But if I had my own...
Would you dress up like Lady D? Okay, you know what?
From the description of this
Mm-hmm.
skill, I thought that I thought you did more damage if you're depending on how much bigger your dick was than the other.
Oh, well, that makes sense too.
Or you could like hit them with your member and be like, remember this.
So they do hear that there's going to be a public execution of several criminals, including the pirate Seth. Although Seth had heard that at the dinner. Right. So she knew,
right.
But I guess now that she knows that it's going to be in like Gongora's palace. Is that in the palace or Gongora's little house that you went to earlier? I don't know.
I think it's in
right,
the
because it's got that weird
is...
circle and stuff.
Yeah, and he's crowning himself king.
So is he just going to put his other house up on market or?
I would presume that he would keep it. You know, like the Windsors, they have Buckingham Palace where they live, but they also have, several
they
other
have Toadmore
estates.
and Sussex Gardens and
Toadmore. That's not real.
Frogmore or something like that. It is called
Squaddingham and Badgersborough and Toffington upon Stratford.
At this point, you kind of get into the city, and it is its own kind of little dungeon. There's not a lot to say about it other than it's a slow kind of crawl fighting guards with just Seth and Tolten.
And there's lots of ladders you can climb up and get extra special things. And there are so many cats. There's so many cats. There's cats like meowing, cats walking around. This dungeon is the most cat-filled dungeon of literally any game we've ever played. And I'm cool with it. You didn't notice all the cats meowing all the time and walking around?
I kept expecting them to be significant, but then
because it's like you could hear what part of the screen they were on from like the stereo effects because I was playing it with headphones on. And I was like, okay, so when am I going to meet all these cats? And what am I doing with these cats? You aren't doing anything. But they do pass through the city and they go into a hotel. And this guy's like, this guy who works at the hotel, who you've actually met before. He was a character you could talk to in the hotel before when you were Kaim. Also something interesting. This whole chunker, you aren't playing as Kaim. No Kaim whatsoever. It pulls a real Final Fantasy 6 on you. And I love it. I think more games should do this because it gives time to the secondary characters and you get to develop them more. So I really like it. Anyway.
I agree with you. This is just Seth and Tolten, so you get to spend some time with the two of them. It's the first time in the game, to me, where Seth felt kind of powerful because she always has done less. She's always been kind of second fiddle to Kaim. And now, for the first time, she really is leading the party, and it's fun.
Yeah, it is one of the best things about Final Fantasy VI, and I think it works really well in this game too. So you go through the city, you go into the hotel. This old man's like, Oh, it's Prince Tolten. I recognized you right away because I used to be one of your butlers, and I worked with your father before the revolution. The magic-industrial revolution, which was a political revolution, and then this became a republic, but I was always secretly supporting your father. What a good man. Anyway, did you know there are these magic tablets around the entire world? There are 7 of them. And if you open up each of these tablets, you'll get new powers and items for you. So you should go do that. And Tolten's like, oh, geez, I don't want to. This is like a lot of work and I'm shy. But he does it anyways.
Yeah, Tolten doesn't want to do anything, essentially.
I mean, I relate. So, anyway, back to the game. So you do find one of these 7 magic tablet seal things. And we talked about them before, because I was like, I think this is a later game thing when we saw it in the Crimson Forest.
Yeah, I think so.
You just have to remember all the times you saw them. Like, there was one in that ice dungeon. There's one in the Crystal Forest. There was one in that spooky ghost-filled cave, the Black Cave. There's one coming up.
Yeah. So we're going to have to go back to the game to get these.
Do we have
Well,
to?
probably if you want, like, the best weapons in the game, Vanessa.
Oh my god, ultimate weapons. Heck yes, I want those.
So you better do it. There's also, like, in this chunker, there's a mention of a boss, like a Don Gorioni or something that you can fight, and he sounds like an ultimate optional boss. Did you find that guy, or have people talk about that guy?
Oh, maybe, but I wasn't paying attention. I thought it was just a normal village goblin.
No, I think that's like an optional boss you can get in one of the dungeons in this game, but I couldn't make... Anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. So, you find this first seal, you open it, and you get a royal sword and a royal ring for your ring things. I've been making lots of cool rings. I have so many rings now. I love making rings. I go through every store when you can buy components, and I make sure I have some of all the components so that I can, like, craft all the...
But they're so useless.
No, they're really good. Like, Mack was destroying...
They're really good for, like, 2 people. Like, you give them to, like, Mack and Kime and Seth. And anybody else, they're useless.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Well,
because nobody else hits. It's only those
Mack,
3 people.
Kime, Seth, Sed, and Tolten. So that's 4 people.
Mack.
That's
Or
5
5.
people. And you're right.
I can't count.
But you're
I'm
right,
a homosexual.
John. You got me there. You know what? You know what bums me out? We'll talk, John. We'll talk more about it later on, I guess, but it bums me out that we're basically at the end of this game and now have the party that the game focuses on. You know what I mean? Like, this could have been a lot of fun if we had been doing this since disc 2. But instead, it's only disc 4 when we get to really dig into
when everyone gets together. But I think this has been the best disc, other than some of the insanity of disc 2. I think that this is the best disc of the game so far. Like, I've really enjoyed this chunker. There's been a lot of fun stuff happening.
Well, there's only 4, and one's always boring.
Anyway, so now there is an amazing... once again, Matt's point about how this game does a whole lot of exposition via people watching TV. The greatest TV show comes on, and it's called Gongora Blood Drinking Time.
This is so fucked up. This better be the episode art. Like, this fucking scene of Gongora drinking blood from the sky, and his mouth's wide open. Like, he's just taking
It's really more of a guzzle.
It's
a guzzle.
Deep,
that is definitely
a
guzzle. He is blood guzzles.
Oh, he guzzles
and
that
it's just
fucking blood.
everywhere, and he's just...
He guzzles. He deep throats it, too, though. Like, he really fucking gets it all the way down in his tummy.
I liked this. It reminded me of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, the best game that we ever played for this show.
But Vanessa, what did you think of his weird announcement or his commercial for Blood, the choice of a new generation?
It's very strange because he's like, I am not a member of the royal family. But if I drink enough of their blood, I will be. So I'm going to be adopted by drinking this blood. Which confused me a lot because they had just become a republic. So why is it so important that he has the blood of this particular family? I don't get it.
He really wants to be king.
Well,
and he loves to guzzle.
But can't he do that without guzzling?
I don't know.
And he just can't wait to be king.
So is he guzzling from like random royal family members that he's tied up? I thought he was guzzling from all those.
That's the problem that's not explained, is where does this blood come from? The blood comes from the sky somehow. And also, Tolten seems to understand the situation. Well, he is the one that remarks like, oh no, he's performing a ritual that will make him one of the royal family. So it's not like this is an unheard of thing that he's doing. Like, he's doing something.
What I assume is that there's like, cousins and stuff that aren't direct line of succession. That's who he's guzzling from. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, Aunt Minda. No, you're guzzling from her.
But even if they weren't direct line of succession, they'd still be ahead of him.
That is a good, but maybe not now that he's drank their blood.
Honestly, I think it's like a magical representation of his becoming one of the royal bloodline.
He's drinking corpse blood.
Okay.
He found some nice corpses, and he's drinking it right.
And it did seem like he was going to sacrifice. Like, he's got this weird dais, and all the criminals that he's going to sacrifice that day, including the dread pirate Seth, are all tied up there, and they are going to be part of his sacrifice. And I assumed he was going to guzzle their blood too. That was just a what do you call that? A hunch.
An aperitif. Oh, yeah. A hunch. Okay. Yeah, can we talk about Seth and what he be looking like?
Well, sure, because it's very important. And we got to say that G. Bailey, or was it Moose or G. Bailey? I think it was G. Bailey was right. That Seth is Sid.
Lost? Of course he's right.
That Seth is...
Seth is Sid?
He's Sid.
Seth is Sid. But we'll get there. Let's talk about what he looks like first, Vanessa.
Seth is a quite old man. I was surprised. I thought, because it's been about 30 years since they lost their memory, so I had just assumed that he was still a boy when that happened.
Well,
he must have been a
he's looking rough for 38. He's had, it's not...
He's not 38, though. He's like 65 or something. He's got a receding hairline.
Well, I mean,
he looks very
I don't
grouchy.
even have a receding hairline. It receded. So,
well, there's no reason to, I'm not saying it as a value judgment. I'm just saying it as.
But his skin. Let's say unless he's taken terrible care of his skin does look like he's in his 60s.
Several characters refer to him as being. In
he's
his
a sailor,
60s.
so
I don't
he
think
is.
This is a speculation.
Okay. He does live out on the ocean in the sun, which
he probably doesn't use sunblock. Yeah. Poor choice, Sid. He has scraggly, long white hair and a gray beard.
Yeah.
He has a metal breastplate with a skull on it.
Because he's a dread pirate.
And then he's a dread pirate.
Hey, can I give you some information?
Yes.
He's voice acted by Michael Bell, who played Duke in G.I. Joe.
Oh, that's where... You know why? Because I watched that G.I. Joe episode of Community this week. And I was like, I knew I'd heard that voice recently.
He was Prowl in the Transformers movie. He was in Ratchet and Clank. He was in a fucking shitload of things. Obviously, he's a voice actor that's well known, and but most importantly, from G.I. Joe, and that's why you recognize it.
Did recognize? Crazy. Okay, so he's got skull. He's got some strappy straps.
So, hang on. Why did this game go out of its way to hire like well-known American cartoon voice actors?
Because it's a Xbox 360
exclusive. Microsoft gave him lots of money.
Do you think that's a Microsoft influence?
That they gave him lots of money and they wanted a very polished game.
Yeah, Yeah, because this is all the American side, you know. So
I bet there's
I bet
there's famous Japanese voice actors on the Japanese cast too. Because they wanted this game to be a hit in Japan as well, because Xbox has always been wanting to get into Japan and never has been able to.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that as well, actually. That it was Sakaguchi. They really wanted to hoped that this would make a splash in Japan, and it did not, which is fine. Reasonable,
it got good reviews in Japan, but it did not sell any systems, really.
It's bland, that's something I feel like I'll save for the end of the season, but I feel like the game's very, very
I think
bland.
this is one of my favorite games we've played on the podcast. I'll say that right now.
I like it a lot.
I'm glad that you guys like it a lot. And I celebrate your love for this game, but I don't think it's a good game. And I do think that it's super...
I find it very interesting in a lot of ways, but we'll talk about that in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So, moving down, he has some suspenders. He has a big, thick kind of belt apron with lots of different pockets.
Well, he's got to keep all his ammo and stuff in those pockets.
Because he's a gunman. He has Tidus's flame shorts on, or was it Waka who wore the flame shorts?
Wasn't that Zell?
Waka. No, Seth. No, what's his dad's name? Jecht.
It was Jecht. Yeah, he has Jecht's shorts. Are
they Guy Fieri's?
Half khaki. Yeah, and then at the knee they turned black with red and orange flames, and then he has 2 shiny metal boots. This is a huge issue for Johnny and I. We experienced a dream that clearly stated that the winged friend of his mother chopped his leg off. And ate it. And yet, what do we see on him? 2 full human legs.
If this isn't addressed, I feel like that is a major narrative hole in this game.
What
like they could say, magic-industrial revolution has created great prosthetic limbs that function almost exactly like normal limbs. And I'd be like, sure, that one sentence made that work.
Or they could say, Seth's memories have been manipulated by Gongora, and none of that ever happened.
Ooh, I like that too. So you do. So Seth is like, oh God, we got to get there. We have to go rescue my little boy. And she really does treat him like a little baby boy, and I love it. So she.
Yes. Well, let's get to it. Let's get to the reunion because it was.
Yeah, there's just a few more screens. Was there a boss at the? There was a boss at the end of the alleyway, right?
Well, they sort of go through the town. They encounter some guards. They reach. Well, Gongora has been setting up this
right.
whole
I
thing.
remember what happens.
There have been these other people who are upset that Gongora did blow up their whole
They are the
towns,
Goatsins.
and the Goatsins are going to tunnel under the ground, and
I think they're already.
Yeah, they
under
were
the
like
ground.
right under the city.
They are below.
And
City.
when
Yes.
when the dead King Mars said execute Plan B, that's what he was talking about. Was he already had these guys there, like right, literally under the city, ready to attack,
just in case something like this happened. So then Plan B is executed, and they all burst up out of the ground and start a big old battle. And
well, but right before they do that, this is when the guards around that weird dais start covering the dais in oil.
Yes, they're going to burn up all of the prisoners.
Yeah, that is important.
It's not really oil because it's yellow. It looks like gasoline.
Yeah, or honey.
And Gongora is standing right there, and he holds his hand aloft and like ignites a fireball.
Yeah.
And you're like, uh-oh, he's gonna burn these motherfuckers.
And the people in the town are like, hooray!
Yay.
It's like, they are all terrible. They all deserve to die.
Well,
Seth is a pirate. He probably has caused many deaths.
Probably. I mean, well, Seth very specifically would only target rich people, and she wouldn't kill anyone. So maybe...
Yeah, so presumably her son is carrying on that legacy. And you know what? Even if he did, we don't burn people alive.
Well, we don't.
Who's we?
That is not what we do.
I mean...
Who's we?
Humanity.
That is what humanity does, Vanessa. That's not what it should do, but that is what it does.
Can we talk about white phosphorus or Agent Orange for a second? By we, the U.S. Army, in living history. Okay. Well, never mind. Never mind. So.
You're absolutely right, though, John. I'm 100% on your side on this. And Vanessa, face reality.
No.
Okay, fine. Keep voting for Trump. Who cares? We're not your boss.
God.
Sorry, vote for Bush. We know that's your president.
I'm leaving that in.
I can't believe that my stance of let's not burn people alive has turned into you are a Trump supporter.
Well, you're ignoring the fact that we, as in the United States... Well, anyway.
I'm being aspirational.
And delusional. That's called delusional.
Yeah. What do you mean you're being aspirational? Like, we're talking about reality. You can't talk about reality aspirationally.
Talk about a brighter future for everyone?
Okay, but you can't...
Yeah, if you're a politician that doesn't want to answer the real questions.
Oh, Biden!
I'll still vote for you. I still will vote for you.
Thank you.
Yes, Vanessa.
You have my support.
If I could vote for you, I would vote for you.
Vote Vanessa, Queen of Earth 2024.
Nap Queen.
If you wouldn't commit voter fraud for her in a foreign country to you, then you're a fucking bad friend.
Exactly.
Okay?
Look, isn't it time that Canada and the United States became
God, no.
country
No,
anyway?
all the times, this is probably the worst one. So no. Okay, maybe second worst, because like a year ago would have been worse.
Suddenly all the real, the small minority of batshit conservatives in Canada would suddenly have a majority magically, and it would get real bad in Canada. They'd be like, no more government health care, motherfuckers. Your businesses will cover that now if they wanna, and nobody will have health care at all. And then they'll demonize you in the media for being too poor to afford to go to the doctor.
Tanks shoot out of the ground, just like the American art. No. Okay, sorry. In the game, big tanks do shoot out of the ground.
Tanks do shoot out of the ground, and they do shoot like grappling hooks.
Grapple tanks
at the city, and then the soldiers with their big old hammer helmets do zip line on these grapples, and in some cases it very much did look to me like some of them were just hooking their helmets on.
I think they totally do.
And zip-lining along via their helmets.
I love it.
Which was
it's great. I was like, USA,
amazing.
USA.
Speaking of...
If you're not playing along with us, but you're listening to this, these people have helmets that are 2 feet above their heads. Like they're giant
shaped,
hammer-shaped helmets. Or the other army has giant circles.
And you think the circle-shaped ones would be the ones
size?
going down these zip lines, but it's not. It's the Anvil Boys. So there's one thing I should note, and
Well, but you would be going down sideways if you were
so you
Circle
could like
Boys, and that would be dangerous.
Fun. Vanessa would do it at an amusement park. Yeah,
no,
she
would.
wouldn't.
That's an insane way to do it.
If it was like a safe body harness thing hooked. Anyway, so one.
I don't want to dangle from my head. Matt is right about that.
So
I need support.
There is a something I forgot to mention last episode that is very well. I wouldn't call it important, but let's call it world building / lore important.
Let's call it an oopsie.
There is
an oopsie.
There are dog people. There are dog people. They are the Kents.
There are dog
and we
people,
forgot to
by the
mention
way.
they are so adorable. They look like big Anubises, and they're like
They all look like
they're so
Dobermans.
cute.
They're all
And
Doberman
they're all like,
heads.
yeah, they use us as soldiers. It was mostly us that died in the battle, the Highlands of Wool. One guy asked me to go see his brother in Kent, and that was a map option, but I didn't go, and I thought I'd have time to later, but I didn't.
I did it.
Oh, what happened?
Not very much. You can't get into Kent because I think it's the town that was destroyed by the meteor or something, or they just have the gates closed. So there's only a couple of guys.
So what you mean to say is that you tried to do it but didn't do it because
No, I did it because outside the gates are a couple of guards, including the brother to whom I delivered the letter.
Oh.
Good use of
And he's like, I'm a big doggy. Ooh, woof, woof, woof.
Yeah, he was like, you bone for
cute.
me? You bone for me?
I want to pet them on their ears.
So
Though it's really, when you think about it, in real life, Dobermans, they don't have those pointy ears naturally. That's done by clipping the ears, and it's actually a pretty brutal process and is not good practice. And the fact that it's happening in this world.
well, Vanessa, do you think that
poor
these dogs are not
conscious
getting
people.
their ears clipped?
I think they are, but it's like a human being getting a tattoo, which, let's face it, is a pretty brutal thing
Yeah.
to do. And yet, people do it all the time.
It's like a piercing, basically.
Yeah.
So at one point, they go up a zip line because they got these like little zip and like little handheld things that go up. And so Tolten and Seth do go up the zip line, and they use this opportunity to jump into the oil-covered dais. Gongora's like, whoa, what's going on? Whoa. And they then...
Well, all these tanks burst out of the ground, and the city's kind of rocked, so everybody loses their footing.
And the second Seth sees his mom. What does he say?
I want to say it. Because he has this concerned, scowly
He says,
look on.
"Mama,
Please let me set it up.
Mama."
He has this
You're taking
scowling.
too long. Mama.
I'll let you say it if you'll just let me tell it, because it's so good in context. So he has this scowling expression on his face. He's standing there in manacles. He's looking at all of the soldiers around him. He's clearly trying to calculate his escape. And then Seth sees him and shouts out, "Seth!" And he turns and sees her. And I will tell you, I was expecting him to maybe be angry at being abandoned, to attack her, perhaps not to recognize her, but instead he shouts,
Mama.
I would say it's more of a Mama.
Mama.
And he runs to her, and she embraces him, and he's like,
and she's like
"Mama."
petting his
And
head
then-
like he's a child.
Yeah, she caps his head and wiggles it around. She's like, my boy. And Tolten is disgusted.
Well, yeah, because
It's
they're
great.
Seth's there's a way down to, there's a passage down to the sewers right here. They jumped to, or Tolten, maybe it's Tolten that knows that. One of the two knows that. They go down to the sewers, and Tolten does get to comment on that in a second. But first,
It's funny that they the game thinks that the relationship between Seth and Sed is disturbing, I think. And I think that's why you get that from
I don't
Tolten.
know. I think it's unusual.
It's actually
Yeah,
heartwarming.
no, I think-
I was genuinely moved. I'll admit, I have been tearing up at the drop of a hat lately because I have compassion fatigue. But just seeing him running to her and stuff, I was just like, "Mama,
It was very sweet. I thought it was supposed to be both funny but touching at the same time. That was my impression. I don't know. Maybe it plays differently in Japan than it does here. I thought it was very touching. And I was very surprised at how it was not what you expected. So they do bail down this weird secret passage to the sewers. Gongora's like, I'm going to take my staff. And it just like flies away. And he does summon big ol' like pyramid-headed weird monster things to attack. And
yeah, they're like big Silent Hill monsters.
They're like a cross between Evangelion bad guys and Pokemons. Yeah. And they do start...
They look Bahamut too.
And they do start wrecking Ura. It seems like Gongora may not care for Ura as much as he says he does.
Yeah. He does. They do. He sicks them on the soldiers, the goats and soldiers, but very quickly the cutscenes show the monsters just rampaging through the city. So he doesn't give a shit. And the Grand Staff, he teleports to the Grand Staff, and the Grand Staff flies away. So he didn't give. He out of there. Dog.
Back to the snow-covered trail. How do you feel about small children freezing to death?
Not great. I would say that I'm
big fan.
anti. Wait, I don't want to say that because I feel like if I come out as being against children freezing to death, you're going to be like, okay, Mega.
No, it's if you say America has never let children freeze to death.
I didn't say that.
Please stop apologizing for genocide, Vanessa.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're walking through the snow. These children, first Mack collapses, then Cooke really talks him into standing up.
Yeah, they die.
And then,
it's a bummer.
Mack is...
It's a real bold move from the game to kill these
children.
Well,
I mean, if you've played Final Fantasy IV, spoiler alert...
Oh my god, spoiler alert for
Oh my god, John, spoiler alert. What's that? Don't you know that we haven't played it? What the fuck?
Anyway, I'm just saying there's some history here.
This is not without precedent, is all that John is trying to say.
With this creator even. So
with this creator even.
They keep walking, but then Cooke collapses and Mack is like, no, don't. And it's very sad and very like traumatizing. It's not a good time. Mm-hmm. And then cut to a 90s music video.
It's amazing. Oh gosh, I forgot to look up the
lyrics give you a second.
To this song so I can sing it. Yeah,
we'll give you a second. First of all, it's not amazing. It's...
Or am I only dreaming? What game was that from?
The weird... It's symptomatic of the weird direction of this game where it is both a JRPG and like a weird 90s movie. Like, this is the weirdest fucking game in that regard. None of these characters feel like JRPG characters. They all feel like 90s action comedy characters. It's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa, did you find the lyrics?
I think so, but I thought it went like, so darling, there you are, something or something.
No, that's Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, let's see.
That was the one I was singing. That's the Am I Only Dreaming?
No, that's Is This Moment an Eternal Flame?
No.
Let's see. This says that it goes.
Well, you could like listen to the.
You and I, hand in hand, have just become. Yeah, let me find a video and listen to it.
It's fine. We're not in a rush.
I'll just sing along. You won't be able to hear it, but I can hear it, and then it will sound amazing. Oh, wait, this is... No, this is something else. I don't know what that is. I don't know. The song does not seem to appear or exist on the internet. So, anyway, Jansen is like... Well, we see Jansen walking along, and there's this love song playing, and it's like,
He's walking along, singing a song.
Yeah, and like as he sort of walks along and he gets to where Ming is lying asleep, the music fades out, and then he's like humming and singing, and like sort of clanging.
I
around
love that it goes from
loud.
this like polished J-pop track to suddenly Jansen singing the polished J-pop track with no backing.
Yeah, it's a good cut. It's a good cut.
He's like, "Hoo-ba-doo,
And I could never lose. And if your face was fire, I'd burn my hands to a crisp.
to crisp because I love you." And then Ming wakes up, and even though he's been like caterwauling away, he's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to wake you up." It's like, yes, you did.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Yeah, you did. Whatever, that's a slick-ass move. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up with my fun song.
And then she's like...
Oh, Vanessa's sitting over there like, oh, I would hate that to be woken up by a man singing.
Oh, I would. I 100%.
Don't wake me
be
up.
like, oh, stop it. I'm leaving.
And I don't care for being serenaded. I find it
creepy.
embarrassing.
Wow.
I do. I get
I don't like it either.
I don't like it. Matt is upset because he sings to all of us every night as we are falling asleep.
I do sing to all of you a lot, and it makes me feel like you don't appreciate it. But that's fine, Vanessa.
I just, when you're like at a restaurant and some guy is going around with a guitar and he's like, strummy dummy dummy, strummy dummy dummy. And then he comes to your table and he like looks you in the eye and he's like, strummy dummy dummy, strummy dooby doo,
Well,
doo. And you have to like sit there like politely smiling at him being like,
I'm not super happy with that like school style intercom Matt put on where he has the one microphone and he can like sing to us from across the Square Roots house, and it's in every room.
Like
every room.
Bing bing.
That's true.
Bing
bing bing bing.
When I look
This
at you,
D is so big, you guys don't understand.
Yep.
We're very, just so we're on the same page. We're all very cozy with talking about that type of thing in the Square Roots house. Okay, it's a very NSFW house.
Yeah, because we don't work here. Wait.
That's
oh no.
No,
What?
we don't. No, I don't collect a paycheck from this. So
that's
we do
true.
not
Yeah.
Okay.
work here. I work at my job.
Yeah, so she wakes up and she's like, "Oh, I dreamt you were singing." And he's like, "Oh, me? No, dummy." And then she talks about how she has her memory back. Oh no, he like comes over and he like looks her in the face, and
I mean, first of all, she talks about how she loves that magician dick, that's number one thing.
She's like, "I slept so well after that abracadabra presto changeo diggin' you gave me. It was amazing.
You put me in a closet. I woke up in the backstage. I don't know what happened.
Yep. She's like, "You sawed me in half with that dick." So they're chit-chatting, and he notices that her eyes are no longer purple. Instead, they appear to be blue. And he's like, "What's up with your eyes?" And she says, "Oh,
they're brown."
Oh, are they brown?
I think so.
Then she's like, "Oh, I got my memories back." It turns out I was the one who suppressed them in the first place, because I think she's too powerful a magician for Gongora to cast a spell on her. But instead, he started like killing her people, and he's like, "I'm going to keep on killing them until you suppress your memories." So she did.
I think it's pretty explicit that he threatens to sick the same monsters on Nomura that he then did sick on Ura.
Yes.
Earlier on in this chunker.
Mm-hmm. So then her memories are all back. She is super happy to be there with Jansen because, as we have established, she loves that magician dick.
I'm torn on the Jansen-Ming relationship because on the one hand, it is kind of one of the more believable relationships in one of these games that we've played.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it does kind of make sense. It does kind of work for me. You know, they meet each other. He kind of swoops in. Things happen. Yada yada yada. Whatever. They spend time together. They grow to like each other. I like it. But on the other hand, I can never get over how she is in like a thin bikini. Like this.
Oh, what? She's
the most absurd.
She can dress
excuse
however
for a bikini
she likes.
you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what? You don't have to turn it into.
No, but I was going to say,
like, it's not about how she can dress however she likes. It's about how the game sexualizes the fuck out of her.
it was probably designed by a
to the
dude.
point that it's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not camp. It's not fun. It sucks.
I don't like her outfit.
And it makes every scene with them where it tries to be like fun and like whatever, it makes it all like spectacularly uncomfortable because this woman is dressed in something that no human being would ever want to wear.
It's weird that like Morrigan from Dragon Age wears about the same amount of clothing on her torso, but she seems, she is sexual.
She looks like she dresses herself, John.
I feel like Morrigan, maybe it's just like the way they animate her that Morrigan has more power. That it's not.
Well, I think that Morgan sort of explicitly says that she dresses that way to manipulate men, too. Which is, like, sort of bad in and of itself, because we don't want to perpetuate the myth that women dress a particular way to manipulate
And she was
men
probably a character created by a man.
Sometimes guys want women to dress a certain way to, like, that's
but
a
I think
two-way
that's
street.
There's a difference between dressing it to attract someone and then someone being like, you're wearing that low-cut shirt to get under my skin.
But I think the difference is that Morgan
Yeah.
seems in control of her situations while Ming sometimes does, but a lot of times does not.
Yeah, Ming seems to just be sort of buffeted around by fate. And also, Ming's boobs look painful.
Ming looks like she's wearing less than a fucking one-piece bathing suit, even though she's the queen of a country. Like, it's crazy. It's stupid.
Since Ming has unsealed your memories, you do get a cutscene of why she sealed your memories. Did you talk? Oh,
We just went
okay.
over
Sorry,
all of
I
this.
was looking at my phone for a sec.
Gee
Did you?
willikers.
willikers.
Did you talk about how that monster that he turned to stone? That is the one you saw when you were going to Liram's house.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Because Gongora had like this monster attacking, and then once Ming consented, he turned the monster to stone, and in fact, there it was. I thought that was cool. And I really enjoyed that Ming talks about how Johnson's like, how did you get your memories back? And she said, well, I think it's when I was protecting you. Just using that much magic made me remember things. And I like that she was the one protecting him, and saving him. And he's just sort of like, oh, yeah, well, I'm glad I could help by being in danger.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
He Chandler babbles.
Yeah.
The way that how much do you think how much of this game, of the dialogue here, do you think is translation versus
Well, I think it's a
interpretation?
fairly loose translation. It's probably, the content's there, but he does a lot of riffing and ad-libbing. That's my guess.
Huh, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I've
yeah.
noticed that sometimes his subtitles are a truncated version of what he's actually saying.
Yeah, that's true.
So, anyway, let's so you go through this. There's a little mini tiny dungeon where you go through to Goatsa City. You do some jumping. You open some chests. It's fine. You get there and you can explore the city a little. I did talk to the guy the gambler. And he's like, "Oh, you're the guy who lent me the money." I'm like, "No, I'm not. That was not me."
Clearly not.
But he's like, "Can you give me more money?" I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So I gave him more money.
Me too.
And otherwise, like, the restaurant was destroyed. I thought that restaurant was going to be a plot point because like you go inside it and it was pretty detailed and stuff.
Yeah, but no.
Well, it is a plot point. It was destroyed.
I guess so. They don't really mention it.
I thought it was interesting that they're like, oh yeah, the upper town where all the rich people live got totally frozen away and they're all dead. But here in Lowtown, we're all okay because we were underneath.
Unlike in Midgar. But we'll talk about that in a different podcast that we already have talked about it in.
That we've already done.
Yeah, wait,
what? So you do explore the city and they're like, oh, well, be careful. There's a lot of, you can go on the train tracks east, but there are going to be a lot of monsters there. And you're like, I don't care. These monsters are easy. So you go out and on the train tracks, walk for a while until you do see some collapsed children and you run up to them and they do look pretty dead.
Yep. And you're like, oh, shoot, here are these dead children. They each pick a child to cradle tenderly in their arms. And Jansen, like, has Mack, and he's like, Mack. And he's like, oh, what do I care about Mack? But, you know, I kind of do.
And Ming looks up to the violet Aurora and is like, hey, Liram, I know you're kind of a Deus Ex Machina, but could you, like, come help not make these kids dead? And Liam's like, ugh, my shoulders are so tired from carrying you guys.
Fine, I'll save my dumb children again. Even though, like, if she just let them die, she could go live with her in the afterlife. So really, it's a lot to ask of her to be like, hey, save their life.
So there's 2 ice bosses in this chunker, because right then you do get attacked by Ice Boss 1.
This one fucked me up.
Yeah, there wasn't... Oh, because at the end of this fight, it does use Reflect.
Yeah, that's what got me, is that it kept catching me with
well, because I thought that using
when I first
Dispel would work, and it doesn't.
I played a lot of this chunker real late at night, so it's kind of a blur. And this one did wipe me like a couple of times because I just could not figure it out. And then I did play it like one morning when I got up, and I was like, "Oh, this is nothing. This is so easy."
Yeah, it wasn't hard. You just have to make sure you don't attack it with magic after it casts Reflect on itself, and beef up Mack with like Powerous and a good ring that will do lots of damage. And I was wrecking it, so it wasn't too bad. Meanwhile, back in Urasuras, so Seth joins the party, and this is where he's like, Mama, and Tolten's like, it is undignified of a man your age to treat your mother like this. And Seth's like, relax, buddy.
Yeah, he's like, it's not natural. If you're 65 and you have a living parent, it's disgusting.
We did discuss the voice actor earlier, and it is weird because this man does look like he is in his 60s, and his voice actor does not sound like
his voice actor
his 60s.
Is in his 60s because Duke was like in the 80s, right?
Well, it kind of doesn't matter. It's weird and like jarring to listen to.
I don't know. He sounds like a gruff old man. He does sound like a G.I. Joe. Now that I know it, he does sound like a G.I. Joe. So it doesn't quite match maybe what you associate in your head. But I think the voice actor's having a lot of fun with the role. I think he does a good job. And I love Tolten's just absolute disgust at their relationship. He is not happy with it. And she's just like, oh, you little scamp, I've missed you so much. He's like, Mama, I missed you so much, Mama.
Well, I'll tell you, as a player... Go ahead, Vanessa.
Okay, we'll go ahead. I really enjoy that he doesn't resent her. Because I really expected that based on the story she told of like, her last memory of them being together is she killed their mutual friend while he was like, no, stop. But he doesn't bring that up at all. He's just like really happy to see her and happy to be reunited. And clearly he knows she's immortal because he's not surprised to see her alive or anything like that.
and they decide to go try and find his ship because they do want to get onto a ship. And this sewer chunk does... There's a few weird things. There's a mechanic where you fix these magical storage tanks. Does it do anything?
I don't know.
What does it do?
What it do is, you see all of those like magic staff enemy things?
Mm-hmm.
So what it does is it prevents them from casting spells.
Oh.
So they're essentially just useless. They just sit there.
Oh, okay. There's also there's a bunch of mini games involving sluice. I can't say this word. Sluice gates.
Sluice gates, you did it.
Sluice gates.
You're like opening and closing waterways to drain out specific areas so that you can like get. There's a all curse that I got in the first one, and the second one you have to finish the dungeon. You have to do.
Yeah.
This dungeon's very long, and it made me realize from doing this podcast, I have learned a truism, I think, about RPG design. If you want to do a very long dungeon, it should not be getting from point A to point B part of the game. It should be in the climactic event, like the Idia's castle, or no, Ultimisia's castle at the end of Final Fantasy VIII. Like an important plot point, it's fine to have a super long dungeon, but where it's just like, oh, we need to get somewhere, having a super long dungeon feels very frustrating and annoying. Don't do it.
Yes, you're right. The design of the game of just, oh, you're in the city, better get to the other side of the city where things are happening, and you just spend, it takes an hour or more, these dungeons of just...
Yeah, I think the city was like 45 minutes, but then the sewers was, an hour and a half, 2 hours to get through, and that was not fun time. It was unfun time.
No.
So,
raising and lowering water levels and stuff.
Which, my problem with Final Fantasy VII-R was those dungeons that were just like this. Like, oh, now you have to move this mechanical arm. Now you have to move that mechanical arm. It's like, you're wasting my time. This sucks. Anyway. Listen to the Final Fantasy VII-R
You know what,
podcast.
John? It's interesting because a lot of it's the same. Many forms of media make this same mistake. I see it in television shows and books and movies and games. It's where they start spinning their wheels, where it's very clearly stopping you from moving forward just for the sake of wasting some of your time.
Yeah.
And it happens across all media, frankly. And it's bad. Game design, movie,
Lost Season,
film writing, whatever. It is what it is. It's bad. Wheel spinning. Don't do it.
Book writing, yeah. I see what you mean there. So.
I can think of a lot of books, right?
Yeah, like wrong? There was 3 Pulgara and Wolf books, and they felt like they could have been one very easily. Do you know what I'm talking about? The one after the Mandalorian and the Belgariad?
You know what? I do know what you're talking about. I didn't love any of those books. You know what I'm thinking of was The Wheel of Time.
That's
series.
What I was thinking of too. I was worried I'd offend you by saying so.
8 books. There's so much wheel spinning. And the same is true kind of for The Lord of the Rings, if we're being honest.
Time
The
spinning.
Lord of the Rings is short enough that I think that but it has some wheel spinning. Particularly the movies.
Belgariad was great.
I read the Belgariad. That's amongst that shitty genre of that shitty era.
Okay, I was 15 when I last read it, so maybe I wouldn't like it so much.
No, I was a kid too. It was a lot. It was very good for what it was at the time. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that is pretty good for
definitely a lot of Battle Mom in that book series, which I think is
love a battle
me
mom.
too. And speaking of Battle Moms, you get through this dungeon and you find, oh hey, right there, coincidentally, there is... What's the ship called? Was it called the Excelsior? Is it the Nautilus? Maybe it's like...
I think it's the Nautilus.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a generic name for a ship. Anyway.
It sure is.
But as soon as you get to the ship, one of those Pyramid Head, Evangelion, Pokemon guys jumps down and is like, "Wow, wow, wow, we're not getting it." Well, it doesn't talk. It just says, "Rah, rah, rah."
Yeah, he's got his big old...
It's very big.
Not a tricky boss fight.
No, but it's very cute because Seth is like, "Mama, I have a plan. Here's what we're gonna do. You see that crane over there? Step 1." And she's like, "How many times have I told you not to just keep talking? Just do it. Like, come on."
Vanessa made fun of me
like,
because you can do, if you do it correctly, you won't even get attacked by the big monster attack, and I did.
he got attacked. I did not get attacked because I did it correctly. I wouldn't say I made fun of you.
You pointed out that you did not get attacked at all. You did.
Yeah, it was just a comparison. It was just a comparison between someone who's good at video games and someone who isn't, you know?
So what's the strategy, hot strat for this battle?
The hot strat for this battle is you want to use magic attacks or Sed's gun attack. Have we mentioned Seth is a gunman?
He does have a gun with a little
yes.
bayonet on it.
You want to attack this crane, and the more you attack it, the more it will move until these sort of missiles or torpedoes perhaps are right over the monster. Then you drop them right on its dumb pyramid head.
And it does die. But as soon as you get inside the Nautilus and start escaping through the very large escape tunnel that seems to be there, suddenly you're being pursued by like 8 more of these little dudes.
Yep. And then it's all aboard for a bullshit minigame.
Lots of finny fun getting through this one. We'll talk about why that is at the end. So, cut back to a refugee camp. Well, oh yeah, there is, I guess, due to the Seth knows, so you do escape, and Seth's like, well, how do we find where Kaim is and the kids and everything? And Seth's like, well, I know one way to track the magic energy, and they seem to know where to go. Meanwhile, Jansen is at the refugee camp with the survivors of Gotza. There's some dog boys there. There's a guy who wants you to like go get some hot soup for him, but you only get like one chance. I bet you if you go back, it resets because he's like, oh, you didn't get there in time for my hot soup.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get him hot soup either, and I felt pretty bad.
You know, there's a need for speed to get that hot for soup.
Oh.
Yeah. So, there you go. It's a reference to a joke I made the other episode. Need for speed, hot for soup.
I see.
That was to Jim, and Jim is not here.
I don't remember that joke.
It's
sorry.
okay.
He's dead to us.
So there is a one guy comes up and he's like, oh wow, like there was a train crash out here, everything's crazy. And the kids are like, where'd this train crash? We gotta find this train crash. And he's like, oh, I guess it was over that way, and he like points in a vague direction. The kids are like, oh, we gotta go that way.
Yeah, this man is drunk. The game describes his name is like drunk
Stan, and he is very like drunk. Yeah.
Yes.
Did he get drunk before he got? Well, was he like under the impression that you could warm yourself up with some whiskey? Maybe.
Maybe. I think maybe he just got drunk because like his town got blown up and he's upset.
Well, you know, I mean, I guess we can forgive that right there. And yeah, no.
There shall be no forgiveness for the imbibing of alcohol in this
There was
house.
like refugee bunk beds and an infirmary, and I was like, okay, one of these guys has got to have a story about the time Kaim went to a refugee camp and then got friends with these kids, but then they died.
But Kaim isn't in your party, so how would he unlock a memory?
Oh, you know, you make a fair point there, Vanessa.
Thank you.
That's why we aren't getting these stories this chunker. And I guess Ming doesn't remember anything. Well,
she remembers everything.
No, Ming remembers
so that's
everything.
why, because she's not unlocking them in little chunks. Oh, okay,
That's right.
okay.
That's
I buy
why.
it.
Are you sure about that? That's
Yes.
why? Are you sure about that? That's why? That's
Yeah.
why?
It's because of pushing lunch. Was that the one? I can't remember which sketch that was. Was that the pushing lunch one?
That's one of the follow-ups, I think.
Right, yes.
I think it's one of the follow-ups.
That was a good one.
That one comes back like 3 times.
Sorry, Vanessa.
Moving on.
So you go through and follow the train wreckage, and you're like, it's not a long journey. You basically go, oh, here it is. There's the train wreckage. You can pick up, there's lots of sparkles in the snow. You can get lots of like healing items and blaze rubies and stuff in that snow, which is very useful coming up. There is a cave. They can't find Kym and Sarah, but there's also a hole that the train went into that they can't go down. They're like, oh, maybe they got pinned at the bottom of this hole and we got to save them, or else they're going to be in like a situation Seth was in, like in her memories. But of course, they don't know about that because Seth didn't tell them about that. Anyway,
That's right.
so this cave is a dungeon full of geysers. It's got poison clouds. It's got goopy, gunky slopes that you can fall down.
It's
All
fun.
the geysers do have like little sparkles
It's not. It's terrible.
that do have treasures in them. And there's some chests. You can get some good spells here. I ran through this dungeon because I was going to be late for work. I was like, oh shit, I can't save. I'm in the middle of a dungeon. The standby never works for me in this game. So I did basically run through it. So that I literally ran through this dungeon, so I'll have to go back and get all the treasures after.
This
There
is
are
for
some
real
difficult
talk.
enemies in here.
There are some difficult enemies in here, and it is a super long dungeon. And I have in this game, it really bugs me. I feel like I run out of mana real fast, and you just never know. Like, when am I gonna walk into a save
Matt.
room? And it's so.
Do you know what the secret of mana is? One is that the tree fucked that guy's dad. The other is that
it's that the dad fucked the tree.
well,
Trees don't move, my friends.
Are you saying that women are just
No, I'm saying that trees don't move, and so the dad must have fucked the tree.
I like how we're all
the tree didn't fuck
just
the
trying
dad.
to cancel each other this episode?
When you say the tree fucked the dad, it sounds nice.
Matt
It sounds like
says
there was a magical baby. But when you
that-
say the dad fucked the tree, it sounds disturbing. Like some weird guy went and stuck his dick in a tree. And then a while later, a baby was born, and somebody just dumped it
Matt,
into the village square and was like,
mana capsules are so
Yes.
cheap in this game. It's not like Ether. Just buy
That's
a ton
true.
of them. I have so much that it doesn't matter.
mana herbs. You don't need to tell me, friend. I know how to buy a shitload of
then why are you
cheap
complaining about
potions.
being worried about MP? Just use them.
Buddy, I do use them. That's the problem.
So go buy more. They're not
do use them.
expensive.
Oh my God, John. Thank you. When you tell me more about how I should go buy more when I'm in the middle of a goddamn
you obviously
dungeon.
You
Which
didn't
that's the
buy
problem with the
it.
game is
You
the dungeons are
didn't
super
buy
goddamn duper
enough,
long.
Matthew, is what I am saying. If you
John, don't tell me how to play the game.
To counter this
problem
dungeon
Is that these fucking dungeons are a million years
Yes.
long with 30 twists
all I'm
and turns
saying
per
is
fucking
spend
room.
5 minutes
it's
going to a shop,
obnoxious.
buy some mana capsules.
And it's so long that
and
you quickly
won't-
run out of
you
the actual
won't have-
mana that the game
Yeah, who
gives you
cares?
that should
No,
last
but it
you.
doesn't. Anyway, we're done.
So yeah, you run through this cave. There are some gassy poison areas. At one point, you can block that off with.
I found a
big rock.
tablet, but Tolten wasn't there.
Yeah, it's holding on there. There are geysers, what squirt right up out of the ground.
Gushing.
And then there's a room that's very hot, and the characters complain about being hot. There's rooms with shifting sand, and if you step on it, it will do you a slide down a little
I thought
hill.
it was more like a goop. I
And-
thought it was covered in goo.
All right.
Some of these got me. I thought that it looked quicksandy to me, and some of these got me so many times that I wanted to really,
because it does like
scream
knock you
at
down
my
into
television.
poison land and stuff,
Yep.
and that does harm you as you walk through it.
Yeah.
So you do walk through, and eventually,
Did you guys? I got party wiped by a couple of monsters here. There were like these flying birds that did just like horribly difficult attacks. But
I didn't get party wiped by those, but I did get like Mack and my front line wiped out, and then a lot of damage done to
what I
everybody
did with
else.
those,
yeah,
Where I had to sit there and blow through all of my
yeah,
mana.
I just like groundus, and then the last one I had Mac with his aerial killer, so that I could kill them all in one turn.
I mean, that worked. That's what I'm sure we all did. But the problem was sometimes all of the enemies would go
Yeah.
first and would just straight up kill somebody. It happens here with Mack. And then later in this chunker, it happens with, for me, it was Cooke. But just somebody in the back line that like 6 or 7 monsters would all do the same attack to.
You know what we forgot to talk about last chunker? There is a point where you're walking through where Kym and Sarah are looking for the kids, and they do run into a chunk of ice that just has Gongora's face on it, and he's like, "You guys suck." That's about it.
Yeah.
Because you sort of get it's different this time, because you get to the end of the dungeon and they look in this ice. Instead of seeing Gongora telling them off, they see Grandpappy Kym and Grandmammy Sarah / Sydney McElroy frozen in there.
yeah, they are right up in that iceberg. And Ming is like, I can't hear their heartbeat. And it's like, well, obviously you can't. They're like far away
And
from
also
you.
Ming,
And there's ice in between you.
grandkids are right there. Just you could be a little bit more diplomatic. Be like, oh, I don't know. Like you could be like, let's get them out and see how they are. Don't just
Yeah, and she
announce they're dead.
That's a great point. She is very fucking abrupt about it. It's painful.
And she has this very Deanna Troy moment where she's like, I sense a huge energy.
And what is it? It's another ice beast.
It's a terrible boss fight. Oh,
So this guy starts with reflect on him, and unfortunately you're just like in a party full of mages, except for Mac. He's the only one who can do like maybe 1400 damage if you equip his rings right. And that sucks. So
yeah.
what I did was I just put everyone to the front line and just wailed on him, and he went down, but it was not the best. Not the best.
Yeah. It took me
I
a
kept
long
everyone in
time.
the back line and beefed everyone up and healed and buffed every turn, and I got him pretty
Powerous
good.
does help.
Powerous helps. The boss before this just really beat the shit out of me, and this one I did not have an issue with.
Yeah, I think the boss before taught me to be careful about reflect and that you cannot dispel reflect. But Sarah, the boss kept attacking Cooke. That boss just hated Cooke and would just nuke Cooke every damn round.
I had that with like every encounter in this cave. Every single time, all of the enemies would go after Cooke.
Yeah. Like 6 or 7 enemies would all go after Cooke in a row.
Yeah, I kept being
It
like, do
was
I have something on
bonkers.
her, like auto taunt or something? But I didn't.
And
They just hate Cooke up in this cave.
the 2 accessories, it seems
No,
like
the game, just the enemies identified that she was the weakest in the party and targeted her appropriately because the computer knows more than the
computer
player, and
has
that's
the
why
status
game
status
sucks.
things like you do. I guess you could say. You know how you got those search glasses and all that?
Yeah, but it has all of them, and it has them all the time.
I was very excited to get 2 accessories and have Ming wear 2 accessories and Jansen wear 2 accessories. So I did put
we didn't talk a lot about
sexy accessories.
Nope.
I did have Jansen put on one that buffs his defense, because that helps a lot with Jansen no longer taking damage much at all.
We didn't talk about Seth and his amazing abilities.
He's got like SP, like you were just going through levels in that dungeon, and getting all your abilities. It's like, oh, this is like an end game, get all the abilities you missed character. I hope he doesn't die.
He has auto shield. He has auto barrier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we both Vanessa and I put that on Seth, which made her pretty much invincible. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
So, learn all your skills from Seth. And at this point, they do kill the magic beast, and Kym and Sarah are freed from their ice prison. They look pretty dead, but instead of channeling Lyrum, the kids just are like, oh, we got magic. We'll use our spells on them. It's cool.
Oh, yeah, no, they just use their random magic to...
Well, hey, they've leaned on their mom pretty hard through this game, so they gave her a break. And they're okay.
Yep.
I mean, they are immortal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they die all the time. It's no big deal. And then, just in time, would have been really helpful with this boss fight, the water starts bubbling, and everyone's like, who? And then popping up out of the water is the Nautilus.
Ooh. And the kids are like, you're Dread Captain Seth. You're a real pirate. He's like, yeah, I guess I am, kids. Can you tell us about all the people you murdered? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Tolten is there, and they're like, oh, Tolten.
What's he doing
He's
there?
Like, yeah. He explains he hates Gongora, and he is on a quest.
He didn't really say that.
Yeah, he doesn't really say anything. He's just like, oh, Tolten.
Mm-hmm. Seth says that for him.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, okay. And Seth is like, yeah, he kind of sucks, but we think he might be able to make something of himself one day.
And, there was a really nice scene back, I guess this was back in the sewers, where Tolten says to Seth that he wants to become a hero like Seth is.
Yeah, he's like, I want to be a brave man like you are. And then Seth is like, well, you're going to have to work on it and become a better leader. And he's like, a leader? I didn't say I wanted to be a leader. But they seem to be pretty interested in the idea of getting him reinstated as king, I would say.
Agreed.
I don't know quite why.
Yeah, isn't a democratic republic better?
Well, they're pretty
monarchy
old.
By
they're probably
divine...
very conservative.
Yeah, that's true.
They've been alive for
I don't know,
1,000 years. Ming has been queen for 1,000 years. She is not into democracy.
Kym does seem to have a very anti-totalitarian viewpoint in his stories.
Kym's just a grumpy old man.
And that's the magical end of this chunker. And they're gonna bring down Gongora. John's bullshit minigame corner today. Well, we could talk about sluice gates, but there's not that much to it. But there was the other one, which I'm blanking on. What was the other one?
That is Finny Fun with the Nautilus.
The gameplay mechanic is almost exactly Finny Fun from Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
Where you hit the button when it appears or mash the button when it appears. And
it's crazy because it's like they clearly spend all this money animating this scene.
Mm-hmm.
And the players aren't looking at it at all. You're just looking at where the button's
just like the Finny
up.
Fun scene.
So who's it for? Who's
your
this
little
for?
brother?
People watching?
Yeah, your little brother,
It
your
doesn't make
girlfriend,
your streamers,
whoever it is you're making watch streamers
or stream watchers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all right. It's not. It reminded me presentation wise of the beginning of Nier Automata that Matt hated. But in that, you're in full control of the ship, and in this, it's just a button game. I love that beginning of Nier Automata. It's great. It's like a weird, horizontal vertical shooter bullet hell thing, then turns into like a Bayonetta for a second. It's all over the place. It's really cool. What a good game. I can't wait till we play Nier on this podcast.
No.
Why not?
Well, it did kill
Hadn't been put
your
at Tails
side
yet.
podcast.
Okay, we'll do it after we play a Tales and a Star Ocean.
Star Ocean.
My side podcast lives on this month in the form of Square Roots, Instant Classic, Cyberpunk 2077.
Vanessa, why don't you spoil / reveal for those not in our Facebook group what we are playing next, both on the podcast and the bonuses?
My spoiler for our next main stage game is Legend of Mana Remaster. It is available on PC, on the Switch, or I think Jim said it was on PlayStation as well. But I
can look that up right now.
Yeah, let's find out if Jim is a lying liar who lies. Or
it's on PlayStation 4,
PlayStation. Yeah,
original PlayStation if you buy the original version. Nintendo Switch, PlayStation Portable as a downloadable classic game. Microsoft Windows, PlayStation Vita as a downloadable classic game. PlayStation 3 as a downloadable classic game.
Yeah. So it's one of my sentimental favorites. Everyone knows I love the Mana series and I like this game very much. I will PSA to our listeners right now, it's kind of difficult to understand what's going on, and it's a game that was sort of built for replayability. So if you want to unlock all of the story moments and everything else in one playthrough, please follow a land placement guide. This is a guide you're going to need. Like, first decision you make in the game, you gotta have it standing by.
I remember renting this, being like, oh, I love the Mana games. Let's play this. And be like, I don't understand anything. What is happening?
Yeah, it's not a game that's going to hold your hand, which is surprising to a lot of people because it looks like a cartoony, kiddie, fun time game. But it is in fact a hardcore JRPG.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Someone in our podcast Facebook group was like, I didn't know they made a fourth one. I'm like, they also made a fifth one.
Yeah.
Children of Mana. Did you ever play that one? It is like, I think it's like an RTS kind of.
Oh.
But it's another one in the Mana series. Anyway. So yeah, that's what we're doing next. And also, as Matt was saying, Cyberblanc 2077.
That's what we're playing for our special bonus Patreon only
Instant
episode.
Classic.
And I think we are all going to have some things to say about that.
Yes, we will. 100%. I think it's going to be another Detroit Become Human.
Because it's cyberpunk.
Because we like future games.
I love future games. They make me so happy.
All right, friends. We have a Patreon for $3 a month. You get access to that instant classic. Well, but not yet, because we still are playing. We're playing it right now, friends. Give us some time. Give us another 20 days, and we will get that episode out for you. But also, we have $5 a month. You get to vote on upcoming games. And it's not this next game or the one after, but it's the one after that you'll get to vote on. And, I want to put Nier on it, but, I promised Matt that it'll be after a Tales game. So maybe I'll put a Tales game on there. We'll figure it out. Or Resonance of Fate. We'll see. Another privilege of supporting the show is that no matter what you give, we're like, wow, that's awesome. So we want to thank you. So why don't we start with Vanessa?
I propose we do this every other style.
Oh, sure.
You and me,
Let's
Johnny.
do it.
Let's do it. Let me wet my whistle.
Do it.
I'm going to wet my... Oh, no, I'm out of...
And here we go. Mary Queen of Scoffs.
Tyler Crump.
Go Cry Wolf.
Rubber Bear is bored of programming geysers.
Tyler Petty.
Stan Sham Slam Shame Sean Shit Shed.
Anthony Orbison.
Citrusy.
Armin Hammer.
Joshua W. Broxson.
Adam H.
Kingdom Farts Poo.
Allie.
Vanessa's spooky... Wait, what happened to this? Vanessa's icy mom.
My icy mom. Sometimes. Zachary Train.
Nofford.
Paul Bursch.
Josh and Julio are the cutest.
Gage La Charité.
Chris Ryan.
Robert M. Pullum. Let's pick up the pace, Johnny.
Okay. Wow.
Every Vanessa's mom is a precious treasure.
OMG, what is this game?
Eric Poirier.
Wow. Chief Hazard, built a robot of Kinky Sam Elliott to land the Square Roots team a Bad Dragon sponsorship.
Ward Childress.
Little Granny Sex Eyes?
Little Granny Sex Eyes.
Oh, that's upsetting.
David Pascal.
Listen up, Scoot Stains.
Justin Resch.
Ethan G. Pearson.
Matthew Newland asks, do you want 2 CDs?
Ian Frederick.
Matt is roundly for Ming's roundly 2s.
Cyril the Wolf.
Dr. Fine, say everyone's name.
Take me to your grand staff.
Robert T.
I see wieners.
Burger time.
DJ Ethro.
Andy Smith.
Sean.
George Brady,
Mama,
Justin Ham,
Aaron Bachman,
Oh my god.
Ross Hartley,
Ari Corpavara,
Miguel Torres.
Dylan Rowe.
Autistic people can speak for ourselves. Thank you.
Make sure you probe every hole for goodies.
Touch my key, Elon.
Bree Girth.
Found Iliad.
Sexy Grandma's boy toy is
Kevin Walter.
Sean Walsh.
Andy Best.
Huxley Iguana.
Sergeant Spaghetti.
Dilly Dally Shilly Shally.
Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021.
DP 2099.
Eric Garby.
Arthur A.
Amanda Douglas.
J.
Fresh Eyes.
David Green.
I'm only doing this to vote for Kingdom Hearts 2.
Alexander Jokic.
Adam Zimmerman.
Hexagon.
Jerry Schriffler.
Alex Dullard.
Great Code.
A chili dog you don't know is a chili dog.
Robert J. Defendi.
Not that jerkety jerk Aaron J.L. O'Toole.
Tracy, the Board Queen.
Wedge Coon.
Megan Sullivan.
Aided Marriott.
Nathan Poirot.
Still just Kimes' unguarded kidneys.
Tracy.
T-Bumpkins is going to need an amnesia stone after walking in on a sexy, horny grandma.
Sexy, horny Grandma Fresh Eyes. Andrew Leinhart.
Christian Go.
Contrary to what some people believe... Contrary to what some people with moms believe, people can be extremely horny and still only be straight or gay and interested.
We got cut off.
It got cut off. I'm sorry, we missed
Wow.
the end of your message. I guess this message is that not everybody is pansexual?
I guess so. That's true.
Yeah.
Jake Dickerson.
Hudson Roth.
Michael Crawford.
Devin Sloan.
Tom.
Hales.
Mix-a-Batch.
Samu Mitchell.
Jameson.
Lauren Prince.
Who wants to live forever? Who dares to love forever?
Who wants to live forever? Who dares to love forever? Forever. It's Queen. Marcus Harnsberry.
Isaac Wright.
Florian Jonas Kramer.
The Ben with 1,000 years of hats.
Jason Timms.
Matthew Casterline.
The specter of ongoing car payments.
Oh, my greatest phobia.
Ooh.
When performing The Stranger, is it technically stranger danger?
Rolled Earth.
David shook these nuts.
Wash in the Wind.
Chris Penyek.
The RPG Luminary.
CharityWater.org.
Joseph.
Andy M.
My Renegade Cheese Plate.
Joshua Bennett.
Cameron Choey.
Nick.
Brian Pitt.
Stu Skeel.
Welcome to Cute Boy Jail, Hong Kong.
I'm Commander Squall, and this is my favorite store in the garden.
I am immortal. I have inside me the blood
I
of
am
Cain.
immortal. I have inside me blood of Cain. I understand that reference this time. WWE Mike G.
You know who else is bad at games? My mom.
Gunblading Sid.
Jack Bizzell.
John Scala.
Keysby Knight.
Grayson.
Jonathan Ellsworth.
Soy Soda Pop.
One of them said they'd buy my lunch. I don't see nobody taking me to Chick-fil-A.
I won't. I'll take you to Popeyes.
Yeah, me too.
Do good recklessly.
Race Jenkins.
Solomon Wagner.
I've come to realize that the ring system, it's very much the same practices to use when fisting. No, that's good.
Stephen Paget.
Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS5.
Mostly rational person.
And finally, Matt. Matt, you know you want to say one name.
No, he doesn't.
Buddy.
Look at him.
Come on, pal. Just one.
Come on.
You can do it.
Ryan Miller.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's go. Send us an
I
email.
definitely had the list up in front of me.
You know our
I was
email
following
address
along.
is squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. And if you don't want to send us an email, you can look at our Facebook group. If you don't like Facebook, which is understandable, you can also go on the Square Roots Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people and tweet us at Square Roots Pod. We're figuring out how to get back to our Instagram, but, you know.
Yeah. It's hard.
Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Matt is falling over.
Oh, no. Poor buddy.
Hello.
Welcome to our new Spotify users. For all our classic episodes, check out our archive at squareroots.libsyn.com or on our Square Roots RSS feed.
Can't wait.
For Square Roots,
I'm Vanessa.
I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm
I'm-
Vincent.
Jeez.
That is teetering, I think is the correct word.
Yeah, Matt.
That's a good point. And also, be nice to me.
Oh, we love you, Matt.
Aw, we
Aw.
love you.
You didn't get lost in some weird flower mound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here for it. I was here for the whole thing, and I was very drunk by the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ow. Stop. Oh my god. You guys seeing this? This is crazy. She is
sorry, I had
literally...
the notes up. Let me open this up in a side window.
Let's see. We have Matt.
She had her claws in my
She's eating
beard
your
and
face.
like drugged
What a
my
good little
fucking
girl.
face down.
Aw. She's grooming you. She thinks you're a cat.
Especially that bushy beard.
Mm-hmm. My cat
It's not
doesn't
that bushy,
do that
actually,
to
which
me.
is the problem. It's like short, like a short-haired cat, and she's like,
Oh
"Where
no,
am I?"
she's
Oh.
licking his nose.
Yeah, she's pushing his glasses around.
Jim unfortunately cannot be here today because he's stuck in a flower
Jim
mound.
is so grossed out by the idea of like a cat licking you. And when he was here in town, the cat walked up and just started licking his leg, and he like froze. He didn't know what to do. He was so disgusted. It was so funny.
Vanessa has started eating her cookie.
Mm-hmm. Cookie time.
Cookie time! Cookie break. Let's take a cookie break while Vanessa enjoys her delicious cookie. It's full of nutrients
I agree.
and sugar.
We're gonna take a cookie
Vanessa
break.
loves her cookie so much. It tastes like yummy. She eats it and she really likes it. It's got frosting. It's got sprinkles. It's got a liquid
Certainly
inside.
does not. It is made of flour.
It's got a...
Yep.
Enriched wheat iron. Wheat flour.
It's called a cookie squirt.
It's a chocolate chip cookie. It's from California Tortilla Kitchen.
Why are you eating a chocolate chip cookie from another country?
California is not another country.
Well, it isn't from what you would call real America, Vanessa. It's a coastal elite cookie.